The sounds of the holidays, but this is no Christmas music. Illegal fireworks once again putting communities, people, and pets in danger. Plus, corruption by a couple who took an oath to serve and protect the innocent. Today, the convicted Kealohas learn their fate.
We're working for Hawaii. This is the KHON2 News at 9 with Howard Deshefsky and Bridget Namata.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. They are deafening, they are dangerous, they are also illegal. Talking about fireworks that are once again jolting many neighborhoods.
Hurting our ears and hurting our pets. Kimberly Speakman reports.
From a pop to a bang, some residents say the use of illegal fireworks has gotten out of control.
Every night, this is ridiculous because you don't know when they're going to be set off. It's been very frustrating. In fact, we have two service people. One is an Army sergeant, the other one is in the Navy, and both of them suffer from PTSD. And when these pipe bombs go off, these guys it really affects them quite a bit.
HPD tells me they received about 550 fireworks-related calls last week. That's already a quarter of the total number of calls it's received throughout December 2019.
The most concerning thing is for the first time we have them doing it at all hours where people are trying to sleep. And people are already at their edge right now. People have had a tough year. I want to encourage everybody that knows who's doing it, you have to call the police.
While fireworks may be fun for some humans, that's not the case for many animals. Kivalani and Lance Chang tell me while they were out picking up their Thanksgiving meal, their dog Nanea ran away from home, frightened by the loud pops of fireworks. The couple learned soon after that Nanea was struck by a car and had to be hospitalized.
It's our worst nightmare. We get there and she's on a gurney, she's in shock. She has 4 IVs connected to her.
But the Changs say the loud bangs aren't a surprise in their neighborhood.
It feels like the boom happened right on top of our roof. Like it was really that close. At least that's what it feels like. Like you feel the vibrations in the wall.
We have been noticing a lot more of these loud firework booms, which seems early in the last week or so.
The Hawaiian Humane Society says pet owners need to be alert at all times.
So we're really asking everybody to think about their pets and make sure that they're in a safe place. And it's not just, New Year's and it's not just Christmas. We know it's happening all the time, right?
Kimberly Speakman, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
It was a day of reckoning for Catherine and Louis Kealoha. The former power couple turned convicted felons were sentenced to prison today. Catherine, the former deputy prosecutor, was sentenced to 13 years behind bars. Her husband, former Honolulu Police Chief Louis Kealoha, received 7 years. Restitution of more than $450,000 is owed to various victims of their schemes. It was a very emotional day in court as years of deceit were finally unraveled. Here's Gina Mangieri.
The sentencing comes after a long pandemic-induced delay following their federal convictions last year. I was in court today as the judge admonished the Kealohas for their conduct, but also the county for allowing this to happen. Former County Deputy Prosecutor Catherine Kealoha, former Honolulu Police Chief Louis Kealoha, and 2 HPD officers were convicted last year in a federal conspiracy and obstruction case for framing her uncle in a staged mailbox heist. The Kealohas both pled guilty in a separate bank fraud case, and Catherine pled guilty in a third indictment involving drugs. Catherine was up first for sentencing, entering Judge Michael C. Bright's courtroom in a beige prison jumpsuit. Once known for her defiant demeanor, she turned penitent, saying, "I do not say that the actions that I committed was because I was on prescription medication. I'm saying that it clouded my judgment for my actions. I ask forgiveness from my family and from my uncle for all the destruction and devastation that I caused." In the gallery, her uncle, Gerard Puana, the victim in the mailbox setup, stared straight ahead, not in Catherine's direction. But her aunt, Charlie, interjected, "Thank you." Catherine's grandmother, Florence Puana, who lost her home and hundreds of thousands of dollars in a reverse mortgage scheme Catherine engineered, passed away in February at the age of 100, but not before dictating this message to Charlie, which she read to the judge.
"You betrayed me. Years of trying to fix what could never be undone left me with a heavy heart and much regret.
Prosecutor Michael Wheat and Gerard Puana wiped away tears as Florence's words rang out. Kealoha's eyes appeared saddened above her blue mask, but no tears wetted it. Judge Seabright handed down a sentence of 13 years, 1 year short of the 14 years prosecutors were pushing for. She must also pay more than $450,000 in restitution, most going to the estate of Florence Puana and a share to Gerard Puana, as well as to the Taito siblings from whom she bilked 6 figures by raiding their trust following their father's death. Louis Kealoha will serve 7 years. He is responsible for 25% of the restitution from the mailbox case and 100% jointly with Catherine in the bank fraud case. Louis told the court, "This is the last place in my life I ever thought I'd be. I vow never to be here again. I'm sorry for the hurt, pain, and disappointment I caused. I take full responsibility for my actions."
I respect the judge's decision, and it's time to move on.
Judge Seabright spent almost as much time admonishing the county as he did addressing the Kealohas, stating, "How was it this went on so long undetected? These are questions everyone should be asking. Anyone who cares about the community should be asking this. How is that possible?" He said events have truly shaken confidence in our government institutions, that corruption was allowed to flourish, and nobody was willing to challenge or even question. Nobody until the feds stepped in.
There's going to be other indictments coming down. There's just, again, it's just, the state is corrupt. It's been that way my whole life. They can't use their power and authority in this manner. It's just, it'll catch up to you.
Gerard Puana's federal civil rights lawsuit against the Kealohas, the county, and HPD officers was paused until sentencing, a stay that will soon be lifted.
Morally, there is simply no excuse for city officials to say, okay, the Kealohas are going off to jail, it's all done with. It ought to be incumbent upon the city and county to take a serious look and fix what its institutions have done here by providing enough financial support for Gerard and his family to remedy what's taken place.
When all of this occurred and it became public, we appointed very strong police commissioners, strong and independent commissioners who rocked the boat, spoke their mind, and brought about change.
Louis Kealoha does not have to report to prison until April of 2021, another COVID delay. Bobby Nguyen and Derek Hahn find out their fates at sentencing tomorrow. The ex-HPD officers were convicted along with the Kealohas in the mailbox case. Gina Mangieri, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
Governor David Ige today appointed Max Otani to serve as director of the Department of Public Safety. Otani is currently a board member for the Hawaii Paroling Authority and previously served as the Intake Service Center Division Administrator for the Public Safety Department. That was until he retired in 2018. But now he's back and begins tomorrow.
Now a warning to beachgoers. A high surf warning goes into effect tomorrow. Justin Cruz has a forecast. Just?
Yeah, large surf for the islands. Best to leave it to the experts and watch from the safety of high ground. Tomorrow, North Shores 18 to 24, West Shores 12 to 16. And this is the first swell of the new season. We'll have another one moving through, another large one moving through around the Sunday time frame. Just 1 to 3 for the South and the East Shores. We did have some pop-up heavy showers late this afternoon. That's all cleared out now. There's still some lingering showers for the Guard now, but as you can see on Oahu, we're completely dry. This was an area of Mililani that was getting some very, very heavy rain earlier today. There's some lingering showers for Kauai, and most of it remains offshore, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to move onshore. Also, not a lot of rain for Maui today, and the Big Island did see heavy showers on the Kona coast, but that has cleared out. No trade winds for now. It's all light and variable through at least Thursday. We get the trades back on Friday, only to lose them again this weekend. So over the next several days, the weather pattern is a light and variable wind pattern, which means sunny mornings and dry mornings into afternoon clouds and showers with variable winds to 15 miles per hour. Dash, over to you.
All righty, Jess, thank you very much. Today, the state revealing 85 new COVID-19 cases, 66 here on Oahu, 10 in Maui County, 4 on the Big Island, and 1 on Kauai. The total number of cases now stands at 17,000. 925. And coming up next, Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell launching another prepaid food card program. We'll tell you who's eligible.
Plus, could more changes be coming to the state's Safe Travels program?
Got a news tip? See something newsworthy? We want to hear from you. Report it at KHON2.com or through the KHON2 mobile app.
By Honolulu Volkswagen.
We're working for Hawaii. You're watching the KHON2 News.
With the number of COVID cases rising in parts of the mainland, the House Select Committee on COVID-19 is proposing a change to the pre-travel testing program. Under the proposal, travelers who could not get their test results before leaving for Hawaii would be under quarantine until they get a rapid test upon arrival at the airport. Both results must be negative. The committee says the latest change to the program, which requires travelers to have the results before arriving or face quarantine, is having unintended consequences.
First of all, we have about 300 to 2,000 room nights of cancellation per property already during the months of December and January. That's millions and millions of dollars of lost revenue, which is already causing consideration of staff downsizing.
Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell says he sent a similar request to the governor last week. Meanwhile, Kauai has opted out of the pre-travel testing program. Starting Wednesday, most travelers to the Garden Isle will have to quarantine for 14 days, regardless of their test results.
And here on Oahu, the city is launching another program that'll send $500 prepaid cards to thousands of island residents. The money can only be used to buy food and essentials at grocery and convenience stores. It cannot be used on alcohol or tobacco. The city is using the pre-existing list to determine who gets the cards. These are residents who have applied and qualified for COVID-related aid from the city.
Our household hardship relief was one of the major programs where we're drawing these names. So if you have received funding through that program, you should expect a card in the mail. Otherwise, we are not allowing people to apply to be able to use this card because we have a very strict timeline.
The cards are expected to be reaching households by December 7th, and the money must be used by the 27th. Still to come here on the News at 9, a devastating diagnosis for a former UH football player.
Plus, the centerpiece for this year's scaled down Honolulu City Lights celebration is cut. The holidays are taking shape. That towering 70-foot Norfolk pine is a Christmas tree that will serve as a centerpiece of the Honolulu City Lights display this year. The city harvested the tree from the Alawai Plaza condo on University Avenue.
They wanted to give a kind gesture to the city, so they're providing this beautiful 70-foot pine. It's a Norfolk pine, and so they want, the celebration, the aloha spirit to continue, even though COVID-19 pandemic has, saddened our state with a little bit of undue stress. So here's an opportunity to give back.
It will take a few days to get the tree decorated. Meanwhile, Shaka Santa and Tutu Mele will arrive at Honolulu Hale tomorrow. And unlike years past, the city won't be having its big tree lighting ceremony. Folks are still invited to enjoy the lights by driving by. The lights will officially turn on next Wednesday, December 9th. Up next, the NFL game now postponed for a third time. Plus, the latest on a former UH, now NFL kicker, on a new challenge that has nothing to do with football.
Shocking news tonight out of the NFL. Former UH star, current Colts punter Rigoberto Sanchez has been diagnosed with cancer. The 26-year-old says he'll have surgery tomorrow to remove the cancerous tumor. While the type of cancer wasn't specified, Sanchez says he's grateful for his doctors who caught it before it spread. Sanchez was a two-time special teams MVP during his time in Manoa. The Pittsburgh Steelers-Baltimore Ravens game has been postponed a third time due to a COVID outbreak among the Ravens players. Originally slated for Thanksgiving, it was pushed to Sunday, then to tomorrow. Well, now the NFL delayed it yet another day, pushing the game to Wednesday. 21 Ravens players tested positive for the virus or were deemed to be high risk for having it. The Ravens game against the Cowboys, scheduled for Thursday, has also been postponed to Monday, December the 7th. Rob DeBello coming up next with more sports and a recap of this weekend's UH football game. Also, we look ahead to San Jose State. That game remains in question. COVID-19 restrictions preventing the Spartans from hosting the game. The latest, plus what Rich Miano had to say about Chevan Cordero this past weekend on the Bows football final.
Hawaiian Telcom.
With KHON2 Sports, Rob DeMello.
How's it going, everybody? Following this past weekend's upset victory over previously unbeaten Nevada, the 3-3 University of Hawaii football team now eagerly awaits another opportunity to face off against an undefeated conference rival. But their game at 4-0 San Jose State, scheduled for this Saturday, remains in question. That's after the county of Santa Clara placed COVID-19 restrictions preventing all sports teams from participating in the area, including SJSU, Stanford, and the NFL's 49ers. Now, the Spartans athletics director said on Monday that the program is committed to playing UH this weekend, but playing in Hawaii is not an option and are intending to play the game at a to-be-determined location within 150 miles of their county to avoid a mandatory 14-day quarantine upon return. Now, a decision is expected in the coming days, as the Bows are currently scheduled to travel on Wednesday, but for the time being are on a wait-and-see approach. Either way, if UH hits the field this weekend, it will serve as another opportunity to see the development of sophomore quarterback Chevan Cordeiro. And as Rich Miano explained on this week's Bows football final, number 12 is a game-planning nightmare.
Yeah, we are blessed to witness this, probably his most efficient game. We've seen other times where I think he's faster than people give him credit. I thought that was evident in the Boise State game, and he really took off for some huge chunk runs. I've always thought his pirouette move, the feeling of pressure on the backside, since the days at Kalai Pohaku, he has the ability to feel pressure, get out of it, the extension of plays, the ability to make all the throws. I can tell you from a defensive coordinator standpoint, there's nobody in this league that brings up more fear, that creates more opportunities for his offense to score. And we haven't even seen the best of this offense yet. As they continue to get more reps, get better timing, continue to believe in the air raid system and each other, they are capable of putting up so many points, and it's all starts with number 12.
Again, as it stands, Bows and Spartans are aiming to play a game this Saturday at a to-be-determined location. For more on this developing story and to catch the full episode of Bows Football Final, which drops every Monday morning, be sure to download the KHON2 mobile app.
Thank you, Rob. Still to come in our next half hour, Christmas has arrived in grand fashion at the White House. We'll show you.
Yeah, and how many people it took to set it up. Plus, the 2020 hurricane season pretty much over tonight at midnight, but the threat of tropical systems will continue well beyond today. We'll explain.
Two. We're working for Hawaii. This is the KHON2 News at 9 with Howard Deshefsky and Bridget Namata.
Welcome back, everyone. It's a new week, Dash.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful weekend, though.
It was. We could look ahead to this coming weekend, but we got to get through the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Here's Just to tell us what we can expect.
Yeah, overall, I think we're in good shape. We just have a few changes compared to last week. Number one, drier. Number two, no trade winds. Right now, 75 degrees with northwesterly winds at 5 miles per hour. We don't see northwesterly winds too often. Those land breezes kicking in right now. And the weather threats really include surf at the moment. We are storm free, so any kind of moisture, any kind of rain that we get is going to be moisture sources that are close to the state. And the biggest one of them all are just these rain clouds that move through. And when the islands are heated up, some of those rain clouds can drop some showers into the state, especially during the afternoon hours. So no trade winds for now. You could blame this storm front. If you like trade winds, blame this storm front right here, which has kept high pressure too far away for those trades to reach the Hawaiian Islands. As far as showers, mostly dry, with the highest chance for any kind of shower activity in the afternoon. We could see this afternoon showers pop up for Kauai. A little bit more moisture there tomorrow afternoon. But at night and in the early morning hours, we don't really expect much in terms of showers. Tonight, there are some lingering showers for Kauai, mostly offshore, but the rest of the state, completely dry. We may get a stray shower or two, but really not much at all. It's been a dry situation pretty much all day long for Maui County. Big Island dried up from earlier showers for the leeward sides, and that could repeat tomorrow. Surf, you're going to hear a lot about it this week. We have two swells coming in. The first one is going to be bringing warning level surf 18 to 24 for the North Shores tomorrow, 12 to 16 for the west side, and 1 to 3 for the south and the east shores, and another swell due Sunday. But again, drier than last week, but just with no trade winds. We might get some moisture from the remnants of a storm front Friday, and then it's back to that drier weather again with no trade winds this upcoming weekend.